So, welcome back to the Style Stories podcast. And this week on the podcast, I'm very excited to have a guest because I've been doing lots of solo podcasts recently and I do love a chat. So, I have invited onto the podcast fellow stylist and influencer Karen Peters Amflet to come and talk about style confidence, colour, all sorts of things, and her style story. So, welcome, Karen. Thank you for joining me.
No, hi, hello. Thank you for having me. It's
It's
great to
just,
be
I
here.
Yeah, I do love a chat. So it's just nice to have someone to bounce off, talk about style with because you do the same as me. You're a personal stylist
Yeah,
and very good on colour. We're going to get to that in a second. I'm just going to read a bit from Karen's website. So Karen says, style isn't just about the clothes you wear. It's about how your clothes make you feel. The secret to looking great is to feel fantastic in what you wear. And that's where I come in. And this is something that I wanted to chat to you about on the podcast, which is style confidence
yeah,
and gaining confidence from what you wear. Because sadly, a lot of people
yeah.
don't do that.
Don't have that confidence. Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't know. It's not something you can teach somebody. I always say to all my clients, confidence is it's like a muscle. Like the more you use it, the more it grows, and it just takes that first step to step out of your comfort zone. And I think that's what people often really, really find the hardest, isn't it? It's that very first step, stepping out your comfort zone and taking it from there. Because I mean, just as well as I do, style doesn't just it's a journey, isn't it? It's a real journey. And I mean, even ourselves, we're still on that journey ourselves, aren't we? We're constantly evolving. But sometimes it is just taking that little first step to step out your comfort zone, and it all kind of like starts to escalate from there, doesn't it?
To roll from there because people get stuck in a style rut. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's just, you get stuck in the same, buying the same old clothes, wearing the same old things,
yeah,
reaching for the same things in the wardrobe because it's easy
yeah.
and we're
Not
all
think
busy
about it and just falling into that same thing, isn't it?
and falling into the same thing. But I just think that you're right. Once you start to sort of break out of that and gain some style confidence, it can then snowball in a massively positive way from there. So I just wanted to ask you really how have you got to yourself, your style? What's your
Yeah.
style evolution and your journey? And how did you come to be a personal stylist? What is your
Yeah, it's
story?
gosh, it's a total change for me because I my background's early years. I spent 24 years working in the early years sector, and I worked my way up quite high, and I worked my way up to middle management. So I was in corporate gear every day because I was going into head office and things like that. So I was in, back when we used to wear formal things to work, I was
Yeah.
back in shift dresses and blazers and court shoes and things like that. And I felt confident in what I was wearing, in what I was, the role that I was actually in at work. And then I had my daughter, and I was very lucky. I didn't have to go back to work. And so I didn't because I just didn't want to go back to work in that 60 to 80 hour kind of like corporate week. And
Yeah.
I put on quite a bit of weight when I was pregnant because basically what I did was eat. I actually put on 4.5 stone. And so then everything happened, and obviously I had my daughter, and everything in my life had changed. So I had gone from working in the corporate world to being at playgroup every day. And my clothes that I used to have for work were not transpiring into my new life or my new body or anything. And I completely lost myself. And it wasn't about my size at all. It was more just about, I think becoming a mum, we all lose ourselves in that stage in our life. But also my life had just, everything had changed. Nothing about me was the same anymore. And I did get stuck in that style rut. And I can remember having this uniform, and there's nothing wrong with this, but I wore it every single day. And it was Converse, skinny jeans, a t-shirt and a biker jacket.
So I'm laughing just because I used to call that the South London mum uniform. And I think you're in North London. You're out north,
Yeah,
aren't
I'm
you?
just north of London.
But it's just like the mum uniform,
Yeah.
basically. Yes.
Completely. And it was just, and I would dread things like warmer days because I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to wear today. I can't wear my uniform. And the worst thing was that I went on to lose the weight just slowly through various things. And I started buying clothes again because I've always loved clothes. I've always loved fashion. I've always been quite creative as well. And I wasn't wearing these clothes. They were hanging in my wardrobe because I don't know if I didn't have the confidence or I felt like I didn't deserve to be stylish. I don't know what it was. There was some sort of mental block. And I was buying all these clothes, they still had labels on. They were still hanging in my wardrobe. And I just gave myself a kick up the bum one day and I set myself a challenge. And it was to post on Instagram every day for a year because I was watching all these other influencers on there and I was kind of quite inspired by them. And I thought, right, I'm going to do this. I was so embarrassed. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone for about 2 years what I was doing. My husband knew because he was taking my photos, but no one else knew about this. I didn't tell any friends. I didn't tell my family anything. And my goal was to just post on Instagram every day for a year exactly what I'd worn the day before. And the kind of reasoning and the rationale behind this was that if I was showing the world what I was wearing, I couldn't just wear that mum uniform every day anymore. And I had to start wearing those clothes that I was buying and put them in my wardrobe. And from there, it just sort of escalated. I started to feel better about myself. And it wasn't because of the likes, the shares, or anything like that. I think it was purely because I was starting to feel more like me again. And my Instagram grew quite quickly, and I started to work with lots of brands. And I've worked with in a content creator role with sort of like many brands, and I've worked with lots of high street brands, lots of indie brands as well. And it just kind of like grew quite quickly. And from there, I thought, this is what I want to do. I want to help women who feel like I felt in that really lost interim stage and show them that they can feel good about themselves again, because it's not about size, it's not about anything. I really believe it's just about feeling like you again. I didn't feel like me in those skinny jeans, and it just wasn't
Right.
me. And so yeah, that's how I came to sort of like be, and yeah, retrained and not look back really.
That's amazing. I mean, do you think, because what do you say to people who say that buying clothes is a frivolous pursuit? Because I hear that, I get that a lot. I hear that a lot. It's,
Um,
if you're interested in fashion,
yeah,
you're somehow a bit of an airhead. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I'm
yeah.
in the same game, so I get, um,
I think it's because we need clothes. At the end of the day,
yeah,
we need to wear clothes. You're going to get arrested.
yes,
Don't go out in them, basically. So
yes,
we need to wear clothes. But I like to, and probably you do as well. We all do, educate our clients to give them the tools to buy well, so that what they're buying will last and it will serve them well and get the right foundations and the right basics in their wardrobe to be able to create multiple outfits, but also buying for you and not buying for fashion, because I'm not a fast fashion stylist. I'm not a fashion stylist. I'm very much a buy well and it will last you kind of stylist. And I think if but we do need clothes, and clothes do wear out and you do have to replace them. And it's not that you need to buy the new latest trends. It's, I just believe that if you buy well, it will last you year after year. And I've got some things in my wardrobe, you know, that have been there for sort of like 10 to 15, 20 years. I wish I still fit into the things I had 20 years ago. Sadly, I don't. But, it's purely just because of, changing bodies that I haven't got
yes.
all the older clothes anymore. But if you buy well, it will last you. And if you buy true to you rather than buying into trends, it lasts, isn't it?
Once you get focused on what is for you,
Yeah,
and then you can start to build a wardrobe that actually speaks to who you are. And what you were saying to me as well was you had lost your identity. It
yeah.
wasn't just about the clothes. It wasn't just about, it was, you were lost,
Yeah, I
you
didn't
know.
I didn't recognize myself at all anymore.
Yeah. And that means that you're sort of just trudging through
Yeah.
life really, rather than thriving.
Yeah.
And there is nothing frivolous about, stepping into your identity and just sort of being who you're supposed to be fully and just being your authentic self. And yes, clothes are part of that, because it's
Yeah.
it's an extension of who you are. You're communicating to the world with what you wear. And I know that you're great with colour, Karen.
Yeah.
Your brand is
Very
orange and pink, very strong, very bold, very
Yeah.
colourful today. If anyone's watching on YouTube, you can see what Karen's wearing. She's wearing a lovely denim with a red roll neck underneath, matching red lip. and you're very good in colour and pattern. So is that your style identity? Is that sort of, are you quite
It,
avant-garde, I guess, or how would you describe
it,
your style?
It is now. What makes me really sad is that I hid away in black for absolutely years. I had a colour analysis years ago, and I was told I was a winter based on the fact of my dark hair. But I'm not. I'm actually a spring. I've got a golden warm skin tone,
I'm
and
spring. I'm
yeah.
spring. Yeah.
And and for me, I walked into my colour analysis training and I was like, oh yeah, no, I am. I was all sure of myself. And then all of a sudden, you're doing it on yourself and you're really seeing it. I'm like, oh my goodness, black does actually look awful on me. I'm not a winter, am I? At all. And that was a massive turning point for me as well, as I think being told that you can wear colour and knowing exactly which colours, because colours are quite scary for a lot of people, aren't they? And being told that you can wear this green looks great on you, and you're like, right, I'm going to go get some of that green, and that helps with confidence as well. And I feel like that's really helped me because I've got quite a big personality. I'm not a shy retiring person, and I feel like by hiding away in black, I don't feel like I was expressing who I actually am.
It's interesting. It's funny because I got analysed incorrectly as well.
Did you? What were you
Yeah,
told?
years ago,
Summer.
I went and had my colours done, and they told me I was autumn.
Oh
And then I was
really?
wearing like these, because I hadn't trained by then, and I was wearing like, muddy greens
Yeah.
and I was just thinking, this just doesn't seem right. And then I'd put like a cornflower blue on and people would go, wow, you look amazing. It just, the penny sort of dropped. I was like, I'm definitely not these muddy colours. I've
Yeah.
got blue eyes. So I remember saying to her, so we're both spring, but we're very different
Yeah.
colouring. But
Yeah.
it's the skin tone, isn't it? It's the
Yeah.
undertone of the skin tone. And I remember saying to her when she said, yes, you're an autumn. I said to her, but I've got blue eyes. That doesn't seem to fit the profile. She's like, no, you're autumn. Rather than say she was wrong,
Yeah.
you know, oh, I might have got it wrong. Sorry, which is, I have to, I've said to my clients sometimes, actually, I think I've got it a bit wrong. I think you're not a summer, you're a spring,
Oh God,
whatever.
yeah. I've got sort of like 4 or 5 colours in, and I've decided what they are, and then I put a different colour, and I'm like, hang on a second, we need to go back and revisit.
Yes.
We need to go back to the start because this has thrown a curveball at me. Sometimes people really still do throw me, doing colour analysis as well.
Some people are not obvious. I've just done a post actually on Instagram, and I said on there, this is how I explain it. I wanted to chat to you about it to see how you explain it.
Yeah,
But I heard that you are either a really easy way to work out what colours season you are, if you're cool or warm. So for anyone listening, cool skin toned people have got blue undertones in their skin, and warm skin toned people have got yellow golden undertones in their skin. So Karen and I are both spring and we're warm, so we suit warm colours. So apparently you suit either magenta or orange, and that's like a really simple basic way of working it out. But this woman has written to me on Instagram saying, I've just read your post, but I think I suit both. I don't know if you have any quick takeaways to help people to work out what they are.
yeah. I tend to say to people, look at their veins and look at their veins on like a sort of like their wrist or like a thicker sort of, where your skin's a little bit thicker. And somebody with a cool skin, it's like their veins are actually the colour of my jumpsuit. It kind of like sticks out. And then somebody with that warm skin tone will be a bit greener. And it's obviously, we've all got blue veins, we all have the same colour blood. But it's because of the yellow in your and the warmth in your and my skin makes it have that sort of like more greeny tinge. And I mean, I think you actually, when you look at your veins, normally, I mean, I'm looking at mine thinking they look more blue, but I think once you've actually seen somebody with a cool skin tone and see how blue their actual veins are, you can kind of like see the difference. And for me, I think massive the difference between silver and gold against your skin as well. That makes a huge difference for me.
Yeah.
Um,
So we're gold because we're
yeah,
warm. And then someone who's blue, cool toned, is going to be silver. They're going to suit silver more. And you either suit white or cream as well. So,
yeah,
there are, if you look at those, I mean, I think everybody really instinctively knows deep down
yeah,
what they are, because
yeah,
that's why when I knew it was wrong when I was wearing these muddy colours, but I'd been told by an expert. So, you trust the experts, don't you? And you
yeah.
think, I must be an autumn, I must have this wrong. But there was just this niggling thing that I just knew that it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I worked it out in the end. But because what we were talking about when we had a quick chat before recording this podcast is that people beige themselves down. So that's a term that I use
Yeah.
when it comes to style. People, because I guess you're scared of making expensive mistakes with clothes as well.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But just not wanting to stand out is another.
That's a key thing. I was talking to a client of mine this morning actually, and she is going to a black tie-do, and she's not been able to find a long black dress. Now, she said to me, I found a red jumpsuit. Can I show it to you? And she looked amazing in it. And she said to me, the only thing is, it's red. And I said, yeah, you look amazing in red. And she said, but I don't want to stand out. And it's like, but why stand it? Like there's an expression. When I used to work in day nurseries, we used to talk about outstanding because that's what we were always aiming for within Ofsted. And I remember having really dissecting with my team one day what you had to do to be outstanding. And it was like, you need to stand out to be outstanding. And it's kind of like that. I kind of like to have that analogy, is that to stand out is to be outstanding. Go on, stand out, just do it, sort of thing. Why blend in when everybody else at this black tie-do is going to be wearing a long black dress, and she's going to be, and she looked amazing in this red jumpsuit. And I was like, just go for it, And it is that fear of being seen sometimes, isn't it? I mean, red's quite a bold colour anyway, isn't it? It's a very colour of confidence, isn't it? But yeah.
It is, and do you know what I would think if I was at that ball and I saw your client wearing a red jumpsuit, I would think, wow, she looks amazing. I wouldn't think, oh, look at her
Yeah.
standing out in a red jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Do you know
Not
what I
wanting to
mean?
fit in with everyone.
I wouldn't think, oh my God, look at her,
Yeah.
I would be just like celebrating that woman and thinking, you look amazing.
Yeah.
God, I wish I hadn't worn this boring black dress that I'm
Yeah.
wearing.
And I just think as well, I always say to my clients, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get some compliments and you're going to feel good about yourself. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. That nothing bad is going to happen from going to this ball in a bright red jumpsuit. It's she looks amazing, and I really hope she wears it.
Yeah, it sounds really nice, this jumpsuit. Seriously, I quite fancy the idea of that myself. With red as well, you can wear different reds based on your skin tone too. That's actually a big one.
Yeah.
You're wearing a very bright kind of tomato red today, which looks fantastic.
You know what? This is a classic kettlewell colours. Like
Oh, yeah.
where you can shop by your season, can't you? And I find them really great for base layers like this. So, it means that I can wear something else that's not quite my colour away from my face, but I've got my red polo neck on, knowing that this is my red.
Yes.
This is the sort of like classic tomato spring red, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got the tomato red lipstick as well, which is what we suit. But then if you're cool skinned, you suit more of like a blue toned purple red.
With that little drop of like navy in it, isn't it, to make it?
So we're talking about getting style confidence for anyone listening. So anyone that's stuck in a rut, you would recommend get your colours done.
Yeah. Body shape analysis, so you're finding out what styles suit you, and also just finding out, it's not finding out, but just delving a bit into your style personality, what your likes and dislikes are, what draws you to clothes, rather than we all work probably with different style personality types as well. There's so many out there, isn't there? But just understanding what you like. When you go into a shop and somebody that's so you, Lisa, that's really you, that's when you kind of like nail your style personality, isn't it?
Yes.
For example, if I was to put on something floral and tulle and things like that, it's not me. That's just a romantic style personality. I appreciate it on others.
Okay. Yeah.
Amazing in it, but for me to wear something romantic is just not me. And I think that's where the magic happens, is when you find out your colors, your body shape, your style personality, and you start dressing for you, the authentic you, not for what you've seen on Instagram or on a magazine or in a friend or something like that. It's when you start dressing for you is where the magic happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 100%. That's the most powerful thing I ever found out about my own style, was that I'm a relaxed, natural. I'm feminine, actually. I would wear the tulle skirt. I would wear the, I don't really like ditzy florals. They're a bit girly. there's something, I need a little bit of edge in there somewhere. But
Yeah,
I would wear like the tall, pretty skirt, maybe with some chunky boots, because I've got to add a bit of edge to feel like me. So
yeah,
if I wore that skirt but with a little pair of girly heels, I wouldn't feel, or a pair of ballet flats, that would be a no for me.
yeah. I'm the same. Everything has to be toughened up.
Yes. So you've
Yeah,
got to, so, I do say to people as well, and this is quite a popular way of doing it, is to find 3 words that
yeah,
describe how you like to dress. So if
yeah.
you can just think of 3 words to describe it, and then it's sort of like, it's like a rationale behind clothes. It's sort of like, if you put them in this kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but you're giving them adjectives, so you're able to describe how you like to dress and what joy really deliver. So it's about getting to that real style identity.
Yeah.
Do you have any tricks to help your clients to do that?
I actually use, I've got a Pinterest board which has got all the 6 style personalities that I use, and I ask them to think about. I give it to them as homework before they see me, and I'll be like, just have a flick through, just while you're not really, really thinking about it, even if you just sat in front of the telly, just have a flick through, because it's almost like you'll be naturally drawn. If you think about it too much, you're going to be like, oh, but I like that of that one and that of that one. Oh, I just don't know. But if you're kind of subconsciously looking, thinking, yeah, I kind of like that one. And I've got Pinterest boards that I use with my clients, and I ask them to think about it before they actually come and see me. And like,
Yeah.
use the words in terms of like, how do you want to feel in your clothes? Because I think that's so important. Clothes are so empowering. And the word that comes out 9 times out of 10 is confident. That's how people generally want to feel in their clothes. I want to feel confident.
Yes, they just want to feel confident, not
Yeah.
too try hard.
Yeah.
You want to look like you've made an effort, but not like you've made too much of an effort. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, but just don't wear what you think you should wear. This is why getting to, what
Yeah.
really suits you is so helpful. So what are the style personalities that you work with, Karen? I'm interested. So
Right.
romantic.
Romantic. I can never remember when I have to reel them all. Romantic, classic, natural, urban, dramatic, creative.
There you go. You reeled that
I
off.
know. I remembered.
I'm, I'm probably natural. I'm such a natural, like I'm a scruff bag. There's a positive side and a negative side to all the style types. And I think the negative type to being a natural slash relaxed dresser is you can just veer too far into really
Oh,
casual
please.
and just like reach for the asset. I mean, I am wearing a sweatshirt today, so, but I will reach for that kind of thing because I want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not classic at all. And I wish that I had a bit more classic. I think as well, I don't know if you agree, that people think, this is something I hear a lot, is as people get older, they think they have to dress in a classic way. And it's a big style myth.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I was talking to somebody else about this the other day about a particular blouse, and I was like, but I feel like a grown up when I wear it. Now, I am a grown up. I'm 47 years old, but it's almost like, well, I feel like I'm dressing older beyond my years, or I feel like I should be dressing like that because of my age, but actually, I don't want to. I don't want to dress like a grown up.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes, there's no need to start wearing silk blouses and tailored trousers just because you're
Yeah.
past a certain age if it's not your style.
Yeah, if it suits you and that's your style, absolutely 100% go for it. But if it's not, then,
No, which
no.
is why this is so, so valuable, to take some time, go through Pinterest
Yeah,
and, start to, like you say, but don't overthink it. Just
yeah,
try and get to what you're drawn to. Do you want to look smart? Do you want to look relaxed? Do you want to look trendy? Do you want to look sexy? Do you want to
yeah.
look,
I think it's also worth saying as well to people, because I always say you might be different people on different days, depending on what you're actually doing. Because there's times when, say for example, I went and spoke at a office in London recently to their team. It was like a lunch and learn thing that I did, but I was aware I was going into a corporate situation. Now I wasn't going to dress up all corporate because I just would never have felt like me. But I did go veer towards the more. I do have a slightly classic input into my style personality because I like the classic shapes. Because I'm an hourglass, I feel like I like those classic shapes. But I also love urban. and creative and a little bit of dramatic as well. But I did go more towards the classic when I went into that situation, if you see what I mean. So there's certain days I'll pull other things out, and obviously working from home days, I'm definitely more urban. I'm the person that's got the baseball cap on, like
Yes,
hide
yeah.
back there.
Oh, that's a really, really valid point, isn't it? Just you've dressed for the occasion as well. You've got to
Yeah,
dress for your lifestyle. That's really
yeah,
important, but also for the occasion. So, if you're going into a corporate environment to do a talk, you're not going to turn up in ripped jeans and a t-shirt.
yeah.
And that's not playing the game. It's not
Even
really,
though I feel quite comfortable in that.
even though you feel comfortable in it and it's your style personality, be a bit savvy about it. That's,
Yeah,
you've got to kind of dress leaning
yeah.
towards the audience that you're speaking to.
Yeah, and it's also if people are working, they may have there may be one side of their personality at the weekend and a different side of their personality when they're actually in the office. It's people. It's not just set in one personality, is it? Because I think that's one thing people think. They think, oh, I'm classic, and that's it. But I have a friend who's a very strong classic dramatic. She loves the classic shapes and the court shoes and things like that. But then she loves big bows and big puff shoulders and things like that. It's, leaning into both of them really.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's another thing, isn't it? Within classic isn't just, you think classic, you think tailoring, but actually there are
Yeah.
different variations. I mean, I think we might be confusing people even more here, Karen. I don't
Yeah.
know.
We might be, you never know.
Seriously, there are 50 different type
Yeah.
ways you can dress. I hope that's cleared it up for you. Thanks for listening. No, it's basically,
Sorry,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah, sorry, but this is going to go on and on and on. um, there's just, you've just got to sort of work out, do you want a bit of drama? But that's where the words come in, I
Yeah.
think. If you're a pure classic, you're not going to be, everything's got to be pretty straight laced
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're
You're
that kind of
thinking,
dresser.
Princess Kate sort of style, aren't you?
Yes.
LK Bennett, beautiful tailoring, clean cut fits sort of thing. It's yeah.
You wouldn't mix it up. You wouldn't wear the tulle skirt with a chunky boot, none of
Yeah.
that. If you're a pure classic dresser, but like you say, your friend, she wants the statement sleeves. She wants a bit of drama, but
Yeah.
she's still classic and smart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mixing it up, isn't it? Because we don't ever tend to fall into just one. I've met very few people who just tend to fall into one.
Yes, and also you can, well, like you say, as we evolve,
Yeah.
we're evolving all the time. So, I'm completely different. I told you on the phone how I got my pivotal style moment, which was when I was 16 and I grew up in Essex. And this is when I really discovered my style. But before I really could articulate it, I didn't feel right in, little heels and a tube dress. This was like the 80s. I'm showing my age now. Back in the 80s in Essex, all that kind of, sort of
Yeah.
Donny Bird type dressing. And I love it on other people. It's never felt like me and it never felt right. And I walked past a Dr. Martens shop and I saw this pair of Chelsea boots and I was like, oh my God, yes. I want to wear those with some baggy trousers. And, I wore it and I walked down Southend High Street glamorous and I just felt just like myself. And it was,
That's it, isn't it? It's just the power of actually feeling like yourself.
yeah, I was like, I just thought something has fallen into place here.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't articulate it then, and now I'm a trained stylist, and all of that I can articulate it now, which is with the words and the style personality thing. But that is what felt like me. Was there a moment that really felt like you? Was it just the journey of coming out of your mum,
Yeah,
being
it
style
was
wrapped?
the journey of coming out of that. And it was, I think, as well, a massive thing was actually discovering colour because I've always loved colour. I've always been drawn to colour, but never had the confidence, or it was just being told you're winter and you can wear black. It's just easy.
Yeah, so it was colour.
Yeah, it was just discovering that I actually can wear colour. It was being told you're a winter and that you can wear black. It's just so easy to just be, well, there you go, that's easy. I don't have to think about anything. I'm just going to wear black. But then actually, discovering that I can wear colour and experimenting with colour, I started to feel like me. And red is definitely my go-to now as opposed to black.
Yeah, definitely. Black is draining and harsh. However, I still really like black for evening. Like I would still, even though I'm a spring,
Yeah.
and they sort of say, oh, you're not allowed to wear black unless you're a winter. Um, I sort of just use it as a guide. I think it's a helpful guide. If you
Yeah, and
know,
it's knowing how to wear it so that it doesn't have quite so much of an impact on you, isn't it? Because I still wear black, but I'll wear black jackets and black trousers and things like that. It's if I've got black here, that's when I'm like, I'll catch myself in the mirror and I'm like, why have you done it to yourself today, Karen?
too
Why?
severe against our skin tone, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think. I
yeah.
think, navy's a bit better because navy's,
Little
I think
bit more,
everyone suits that.
isn't it?
Everyone suits that. That's amazing. It's been amazing chatting to you
Yeah,
today.
thank
And
you.
apologies, people watching on YouTube about the recording problems. Don't know what's going on today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your patience. Where can people find you, Karen, online?
I have mainly hang out on Instagram, to be honest. So I'm at Style by KPA, and then my website is stylebykpa.com.
Excellent. Amazing. I've had a great chat with you. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much
having me.
for coming on the podcast. And I hope we didn't confuse people more.
Like,
Hopefully gave you a bit, yeah, bit of style clarity there. All right. Thank you, Karen.
all right, take care. Bye.